Hello and welcome to my channel to plan for. My name is Marguerite, and on this channel I talk about analog planning, journaling, and all the tools that make writing more enjoyable, especially fountain pens and inks. And this video is part of my ink exploration series where I take a look at different inks, explore their properties, and have a special focus on writing samples in fountain pens. Because for me, that's the most important part. I use my fountain pen inks mainly for writing, so I want to know how they look in different pens with different nibs. Okay, so today I want to take a look at this ink from Jacques Herbin, Poussière de Lune, which means like moon dust. And it's a wonderful dark purple. And yeah, I have to admit I'm a bit biased because currently I'm still in my purple phase. I think since the color went last year, came out with the Maven Dust, I'm just in love with dark purple inks. And yeah, have always have enjoyed to use them ever since. So let's start out with swatching the ink. Those are all the inks I have made ink exploration videos about so far. So if you see any ink you are interested in, you will find a video about it on my channel. And that's a Wearingeul color swatch book. And also I have a Tomoe River paper that's 68 GSM. And let's have a look what the ink looks like. I only have a small bottle of this ink, but it is an ink of the Herbin standard line, so whenever I run out of it, I won't have trouble to get another small bottle or maybe a big bottle, whatever I prefer. But I am actually a big fan of the small bottles because I have a few different inks. And yeah, I don't need that huge amount of an ink. I prefer to have many inks in small quantities. Okay, then let's see here. Okay, we have our ink swatches. And now let's label the ink. So I have this ink in 3 different pens currently, and we'll also see writing samples with them in just a minute. So, Herbin. Poussière de Lune. Okay. And just to be on the safe side, let's close this little bottle. So again, or let's take the pen with the broader nib here. Okay, so this ink definitely has shading. You can also already see it here. I have more or less ink on the page. There is variation. I do have a bottle, even though it's only a small one. And then let's get some ink on the page for the water resistance test. One reason why I like to do lots of writing samples on different papers and different pens is because it usually takes me a while of really using an ink to get a feeling for it. And with this ink, I was really surprised how lubricated it is. And it did not really feel the same on all paper types. Sometimes I doubt myself if it's just in my head or if it's real. But I had the feeling on some papers, this ink was almost a bit too lubricated. I was slipping on the paper a little bit, or I would have preferred to have a little bit more control over my pen. But when things like that happen, I'm never really sure, is it just imagination? Is it real? But let's take a look at the writing samples while we let this dry, and then at the end we can take a look at the water resistance. So I started out my writing samples in my Archer and Olive notebook. This has 160 GSM paper. And as I use those notebooks, I also want to have writing samples on this paper. And for my writing samples, I have my standard set. I have my Lamy Safari with a broad nib, then my TWSBI Eco with a medium nib, and Pilot Kakuno with a fine nib. On this paper, I sometimes felt the ink to be a bit slippery, especially in the other pen. I have it all also inked up, which is part of my current lineup that currently inked. So I have this ink in my Pelikan MO809 with a fine nib. And on Archer and Olive paper, it writes really well, very lubricated, very wet, but sometimes a bit slippery. But it is, for me, an ink that also works with fine nibs, and I'm not a fan nib of, well, real fine nibs. A Pelikan fine doesn't count as a fine nib because Pelikan nibs tend to write broader than like their like a Japanese fine, for example. Then I also have some writing samples on the Rhodia notebook. And here again, we have the Lamy Safari up here, TWSBI Eco, and Pilot Kakuno. And yeah, I preferred to use the Lamy Safari with the broad nib on this paper. I don't know if it was only the Lamy or the broad nib. I did not try it in a medium nib in the Lamy Safari. But yeah, that was here my preference. The other paper type I'm also constantly using is Tomoe River paper, and that's why I also have writing samples in Goodinkpressions notebook with 52 GSM Tomoe River paper. Let's see where we got. And here we have the Lamy Safari, TWSBI Eco, and the Pilot Kakuno. And then this paper type, I was happy with all 3 different pens or pen and ink combinations. This is definitely an ink I like using most on Tomoe River paper. Besides my standard writing samples, I also have some additional writing samples, just if you care to see a little bit more how the ink looks like. Let's go through them quickly. So I have another notebook with Tomoe River paper. That's a Hobonichi notebook. And yeah, now let's put it like this. Here I have a writing sample with my Pelikan M809. Also, as I said, inked up with Poussière de Lune. Very nice ink. I really, really enjoy having this ink in my Pelikan. And I mean, I'm already on the 2nd fill, and I can imagine that I will re-ink it at least one more time with the same ink. It's so much fun to write with it. Okay, then we have also a writing sample on a Leuchtturm notebook, or in a notebook. Oh yeah, here it is already. So yeah, that's also with my Pelikan M809, Poussière de Lune, and yeah, it's good, but Tomoe River paper is my preferred one for this ink. Oh yeah, and now for the final writing sample, I have a Clairefontaine notebook. And for this one, I have a comment here. Also on this paper, this ink was a bit too slippery for me. I mean, this paper is very, very smooth. I mean, it's the only Clairefontaine notebook I have, so I don't know if this paper is just that slippery. It's not my favorite paper type. It's too slippery for me. So very, very smooth paper, extremely well lubricated ink, and that's a bit too much for me, actually. Okay, so now we can put the notebooks aside and take a look at the water resistance. So let's see what damage a bit of water does. And while we wait, I can make my final writing samples on this paper. Okay, we got our writing samples now on this page as well. And let's see what happened with the water. Okay, so I think there is very low water resistance. I mean, I still could make out what I wrote, but most of the color is gone, so I would give it 1 drop. Okay, so that's it. I hope you got a first impression about this ink. I would summarize it as very wet, well lubricated purple ink. Jacques Herbin ink and inks are not that expensive, so it's certainly an ink worth trying out. And yeah, nothing more to say. Thank you for your time and see you soon. Bye.